Hello, I'm Derek Smalls, and you're watching, or listening, or both, to Rock Shop Live with Eric Broadbent. He's the Bent Broad.
You're watching Rock Shop Live, brought to you by Stewart Travel Guitars. See the incredible stowaway travel guitar at stewartguitars.com. Microphones for Rock Shop Live are provided by Rode Microphones. Now, for Music Gear Network, here's your host, guitarist Eric Broadbent.
Hey everyone, happy Friday to you all. Welcome to Rock Shop Live. This has been a while since we've done a Friday night show, which is actually kind of good in a way too. We've had some time to change some things, some visuals here, as you can see on the screen, a few new things which you're looking at. You know me, if you've been a long-time viewer of our shows here, we get restless and bored very quickly when it comes to, status quo and just the average way we do things. I started to ramp up some things over on the Helix Hour show, some new graphics and some, new things like that as well too. I thought, this show is lacking, so we didn't have any guest book for the next 2 weeks, and then we get back into regular rotation again. So we thought we'd change some things up. So we'll talk about that. Hopefully you like the look here as well too. Let's go over and say hi to a bunch of people in the chat, and then I've got a list, old school. Didn't get a chance to put anything digital on the iPad tonight, so I use it as my cheat sheet. So I'm using a physical, old school pen and paper cheat sheet tonight to get through this. We're going to have some fun. Some of this content is going to be some content that was in my, I think it was a Sunday night show I did about 2 weeks back. I don't know when it was. I think it was a Sunday. Anyways, my video got blocked worldwide. I mean, it's not even viewable anywhere in the world because I was playing some Aussie. So, the Aussie's management, that's not the management. It's a digital publicist. The management doesn't have anything to do with those things, but the publicist got me right away. Not only did they give me a copyright warning, they just blocked me in every single country, blocked me on planet Earth. So that video got taken down. I can still view it. The funny thing is I can view it, but the public can't view it. Obviously, I can see it because it's on my channel. But we're going to be doing some of the content that was on there. Going to give you some fun stuff tonight. Going to talk about a couple of news items that are, at least one of them is music worthy, music oriented, I guess we could say. So let's say hi to a bunch of people here as well. And like I say, hopefully everyone likes the look here on the show. We have Buffalo Billy says he enjoyed the last live stream. Mr. BHB Jr. is here. Haven't seen him in a long time. Nice to see you here. Thanks for tuning in. Let me see who else we got here. Brad Miller is here as well, too. Carlo Santin is here. Happy Friday. Brad Miller, Scott Roos, my beautiful Butterfly and Ladybug show. And let's actually stop there for a quick second because I would like everyone to wish, at your leisure, but today is Sandra Lee's double 25th birthday. So we're celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to Sandra Lee. If you feel so inclined to throw some emojis or thumbs up or whatever you want to do in the chat to wish her a happy birthday. They had a fun show today over on the Butterfly and Ladybug show. We'll talk about that later on in the program today as well, too. They've got a new segment that they've rolled out that's a lot of fun, and we'll talk about that, which is actually Friday. So Friday's going to be a fun day. There's something special over on their show. And then, of course, we have our Rock Shop Live show here on Friday. We'll be back to doing this every Friday as well, too. Even if we don't have a guest book, we'll be doing something worthy. At least we'll try to make it worthy of your time to pop on over and say hi and hang out. And, even if I don't have anything really crazy exciting, I'm sure you guys always find something in the chat to discuss with one another. And it kind of warms up the weekend for everybody, which is what we aim to do here. Let's continue on. Matt Krill is here. I know Matt's going to probably like some of this Helix stuff we're going to do here this evening. Let me see, scroll down a little further, make sure I don't miss any. Six String Ryan is here. Thanks for tuning in, Brian. Appreciate that. Brian was popped into the Butterfly and Ladybug show earlier today for a few minutes. Fruitcake Tony is here. Don Shepard is here. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. We've got a lot of Canadians in the house tonight. Gary Big G Tholander is here. Fantastic. Can't say, just want to say hi and happy birthday to Sandra. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Did I mention Scott Roos? I think I did. Ricky Mees is here. Man, we have a great audience here tonight. This is fantastic. Okay, so going through some of the things of the itinerary. So we mentioned we got a new look here as well too. It's something I've just wanted to do for the past little while, and I got myself in a bit of a dilemma, a good dilemma. I certainly shouldn't say it's a dilemma. Usually means a bad thing, a pickle or between a rock and a hard place or those kind of things. But it's a good dilemma. We've taken on an additional, not a new, we didn't replace or anything like that. We've taken on an additional sponsor for the show, a yearly sponsor. If you look down on the very, very bottom, they're written small right now, but the official sponsors on the channel here Our primary sponsor is Stewart Guitar Company, Stewart Travel Guitars. We've taken on a secondary sponsor, our friends at IdeaBench, ideabench.com. They make all kinds of pedal boards, pedal board accessories, and bulletproof stuff. And of course, Rode Microphones has always been one of our sponsors since we were just just starting out on YouTube, pretty much. So what that means is now, if you notice the intro this evening, you probably saw the video with Derek Smalls, and you see Stewart Guitars, and then you see Rode Microphones. Well, I've got a new script written, and it's been approved, and I have to, when I say approved, it's approved by the sponsors. And the girl that you hear there is a good friend of mine, a former radio colleague. She's great. She's been the voice of Rock Shop Live and even EVH and Gear TV, and I dare say possibly even the tail end of EVH Gear Discussion when we ran that show. She was the voice. She was the voice that you heard. So she's kind of become that voice we've all become accustomed to. Fortunately for her, she's on maternity leave. They had their first baby. So her name is Amber Lee. As I mentioned, I worked with her for about 7 years in radio. And before even working with her in radio, she's much younger than me, so she would always come out and watch the band. I remember starting at the radio station. She's like, "I used to come watch your band." That was cool. So she's on maternity leave, and she doesn't have a home studio. Now, I could bring some of my mics to her place, but that's kind of invasive. And I know she would have no problem doing that. But anyway, she's on maternity leave until November, so that's like, okay, what are we gonna do now? So Sandra Lee has volunteered to give it a shot. So she does Kramer Corner. And we got to get back to Kramer Corner. We haven't forgot about Kramer Corner. We've just neglected it, and we're going to get back to it. She does the outro to Kramer Corner. At least I think so. And I know she did Rocking Dead. That is one that we have let die. Rocking Dead is dead. The content is still there. But so Sandra Lee's going to give an attempt, and she's got a good voice, so we'll see what we can put together. She did a voicer for Will Dunham's channel as well, too. So she's got a good voice. We'll work that out, and I've got to put some video stuff together as well too, to give back to the sponsors as well too. So that's coming up. So that's a nice dilemma. So that will be in the probably maybe by the next week, by next Friday's show, we might have that. Let's continue on just to make sure that we don't miss anybody here as well. I tried to flag where we left off. I've got my chat on the screen, and I'll show you a couple other things I can change this here as well too. Let me go into this other mode for a quick second. And, I can move my chat here in just a sec too. Let's turn that off and let's put it over to something like this. And that goes to show you different ways you can support us. Here on the screen, we've got our Patreon, PayPal as well too, and then our Helix Marketplace. Not our Helix Marketplace, Line 6's Marketplace. That's where you can pick up our presets. And I can also show you here as well too some of our upcoming guests, upcoming guest. We'll flip that over. We've got Bill Kelleher from Mastodon over on the Helix Hour this Sunday. Bill is a recent kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say a switcher. What's the word I'm looking for? He's transitioned from Axifex and over to Helix, to Line 6. So that's pretty cool, and he's really liking it. He does a lot of clinics for ESP guitars. He's moved from Gibson to ESP. He's now an ESP artist and does clinics all around the world. And, a lot of times it's not conducive to have, stacks of amplifiers and stuff like that. So he's been using modeling gear. And even when he was using the Fractal stuff, he had reached out to Line 6. As if you go back and watch about 2 episodes back with Director of Artist Relations at Yamaha Guitar Group and Yamaha Guitars, Ampeg, all those goodies. Matt Ferguson was on the show, and he reached out. Bill reached out to the team at Yamaha Line 6 and said, if I got one of these things, if I had any trouble, can you guys help me out? And I forget how the whole conversation went. Long story short, Bill ended up getting a Helix, and he loves it. So we'll be talking to him this weekend, and another genre of music that we sometimes don't necessarily look at on the Helix Hour. So that'll be a nice, fresh look as well too into a new artist. So let's jump back over here, back to the chat, put that back on. Okay, we'll get over here, and let's just there we go. I can see a little bit better now, bigger screen. So that's happening. So that's fun. Let me see. Can I continue on here? Make sure I didn't. Yeah, Matt says he was bummed that the video was blocked, and I had some good tones happening that night as well too. I was playing some Rush. The funny thing is, I did get a copyright claim on. I was playing YYZ from Rush, and YYZ, YYZ, tomato, however you like to pronounce it. I got a claim on that one, and it would have been fine. I would have just had to share the revenue with them. I try my best not to play copyrighted material on the channel. That's why I play a lot of my music a lot. People say, Eric, you play your own music all the time. Yes, number one, for the most part, I don't screw it up. And number two, it's my music, so I don't get a copyright claim. So I figured I was going to get a claim on the Rush tune, but I was not expecting what I got from Ozzy, and I was playing Crazy Train in its entirety, and I got nailed bad on that one. So it is what it is. I just got to be careful what I play, right? And you won't see me playing stuff like that too often. Let's continue on. So yeah, I was left off at Matt. Let me see here. Ricky Mees, bucket full of balls. And I know I say this all the time. I sound like a broken record or stuck record. But I love sometimes usernames are the best. And bucket full of balls. That's one of my favorite YouTube names that comes into our circle of viewers here. Love it. You have a great name. If you're gonna have some balls, you gotta have a bucket full, right? Let me see. Continuing on. Don Shepard, good evening to all. I think I might have mentioned. Oh, yeah, okay. So, I'm way behind. Gary Tholner, he's already long gone. He's already taken off. Neil Banbury's here. I know Neil's a Helix fan, so hopefully we'll please Neil this evening with some tones. James Severin. Hello, Eric Hale, and thank you. Let me see. What else am I missing here? Oh, Gary's still here, possibly. Let me see. It looks like he's here. So, okay, I'm going to go backwards because I scrolled too far. Thomas Farrow is one of my Twitter friends. I saw him posting about a new 7-string or an 8-string guitar he got recently, and I sent him a message today. Said, "Hey, how are you making out with your guitar?" And I invited him to come and check out the show. So, very, very cool. He gave me a good guest suggestion as well for the Helix Hour. So I told him I'd reach out to the person he suggested to me as well too. So, if there's people you would like to see on our various shows as well too, some may be obtainable, some may not. And some will come down to scheduling, at times as well too. So drop us a line through our various social media, or you feel free to comment in the chat as well too. People you'd like to see on the show, or people you might like to see back. We have a pretty good network of publicists and assistants and management and things like that we can reach out to. That some of that we work with on a regular basis that represent a lot of people. So sometimes it's not too hard to get the big name guests. Sometimes it's very hard. There's some people we've been working on for almost probably 3.5 years. They will see the light of day and they will be here, but it's not an easy thing sometimes. But we'll reach out to whoever that you would like to see. We'll do our very, very best. Thrash says Ozzy gets blocked. Yeah, I guess so, right? I know some people that do, lessons and stuff like that as well too, and I see them getting away with Ozzy. But it's one of those things. It's not a human being. Well, yes, it is. It's not a human being that catches the copyright infringement. I think I've talked about this on the show before. There's software that as soon as the music is released digitally, or released, it goes. YouTube will get a copy of it. The digital publicist, whoever the publicists are, let's say it's like Warner Publishing Group, whatever. They have software on their end that will monitor it, and it's almost like facial recognition software, but it's for audio. It'll detect it right away, and on their software on their end, even if it's after hours, it'll catch it and it'll flag it, and it'll say in case, let's say it's my channel, it'll say they'll walk into their computer in the morning, turn it on, and the software, it's almost, I like to look at it as a speed trap. You got the cop sitting behind the billboard on an I-75, and you go by, and then all of a sudden they get you and they nail you, right? They're just waiting for the person to go by. That's how the software works. And they'll look at it. A lot of times they'll look at the size of the channel. If it's a piddly little channel, sometimes, in most cases, they're going to flag it anyways. But if it's a big channel, they think they might make some, good streams off it, good money. They're going to grab that one right away. And they have the choice, basically saying yes or no. It's almost like approving a comment on YouTube. Yes, or do you want to put it in the trash? So yes, I want to slam Eric and take away his revenue, or no, we'll let it slide. That's exactly how easy it works. And, I've seen the software hands-on by some of the digital publishing groups, and I get to see how that works. So it's pretty cool. But I got nailed, and that's the end of that story. We just won't do that again. Jimmy Biter, not sure if I mentioned, Canadian Deplorables, 45 says work calls, but keep up the great work. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. And you got to work to pay those bills. That's right. Exactly. I'm going to go to the very, very bottom. Sonia is here. Thank you for jumping in. Sonia, hello, my wonderful friends. And that's very true. We're all friends here in the group. Coots13, hey, Eric and Knock. Ricky Mees, Brad Miller. We're getting some of the regulars. Thomas Farrow, as we were talking about a while ago, Marsman. All right, so let's move down a little bit. Maybe we'll get into some gear playing here or some playing in a moment. I'll get the headphones going. A couple new things coming up on the channel here very soon. Some new gear coming for reviews here. There's a really fun one I did a while back. You can just barely see it right there. That's the new Gator case for Helix, for the Helix floor. And I imagine LT will fit in there as well, too. I haven't confirmed that. I think it would. But I've got some new stuff. Actually, I didn't even think about that. There's another product coming from Gator that I'll be reviewing. It's Helix related as well, too. We're getting some stuff from Rode, so watch for that. A lot of you guys and girls are budding, YouTube enthusiasts. Some of you have your own channels, things like that. Some gear you may want to check out. So watch for that. And then there's 2 other companies. I won't say yet because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag with some really exciting gear. Looking forward to doing some is guitar related and some is more interfaces and things like that related. So watch for some reviews on that stuff coming soon. Maybe because there's about 3 or 4 I have to do. I will probably do one of them as a live event. We'll do that. And when I do reviews in the live environment, I like to do all the review first and then say hi to everybody and chat. Because, I like to say hi to everybody. But imagine if you're the person coming back to watch the review. We're all friends and family here where we talk amongst ourselves. But a lot of people will find these reviews that probably in a lot of cases don't know anything about my channel. They don't know me. They probably don't know some of you folks in the chat. So they want to know what's this product about. So they watch a review, and if they want to stick around and meet some new friends by the people in chat, they can do that. So live reviews, I tend to do that. I just tend to get everything out at once, and then we party and hang out after the fact, right? So that's gonna be some fun stuff. Before I start playing, this is kind of neat too. This is a different thing for me, and just for a show of hands in the chat, you guys can guys and girls, comment what your tuning style is. Tuning, like where you tune. I've been a E flat guy my entire life, obviously because of the Van Halen and 80s rock influence, right? Like I have what I guess I could say I have self-proclaimed perfect pitch, but in E flat, if that makes any sense. I can tune a string no problem, but it's going to be perfectly in tune to E flat. So I've recently switched, and the Variax guitars have a lot to do with that, because Variax guitars from Line 6, they do a lot of technology that can tune your guitar to anything. So I went to 440 with playing 9 to 42, and I like it a lot. Like a lot of artists like Joe Satriani, he's Steve Vai, a lot of guys like that, they tune to 440. So now that they've gone that way, and I only have a couple guitars left now that I keep in half step down. The Wolfgang here is one of them. Even my Kramer now is at 440. I have 2 identical Shurikens back there, and with I like to use the Variax technology on those guitars for, in my personal opinion, more so for acoustic guitars than I do for simulating other electrics. And I don't like the sound of a simulated pickup over a magnetic pickup as much. So with a duplicate of that guitar, I have one tuned to 4/4 to half step down. So that way, if I want to play some of the Van Halen or some of my own music, a lot of my own music was written in half step down, I can still get that feel. There's nothing replacing the slinkiness of a string tuned down a half a step. And it's so funny, in the course of about a month being tuned to regular pitch, I play my other guitars that are tuned half step down, and I literally feel like I'm going to bend the strings right off the neck. And even though I've got relatively strong hands, I could bend very well before, no problem. But it's amazing when you have a little bit of extra tension. I guess I could equivalent it to like playing like 11 gauge strings and then going back down to 10s or 9s or something like that at regular tuning. So it's kind of cool. But I do like the 440, so I'm curious to see D flat, things like that. Very, very cool. And I'm getting I already got a request, I guess, from Matt, wants to hear Shirley. I'll gladly accommodate that. I love playing that song. I love that for sure. Guitar Man 45 is late, but made it. That's great. There's no penalty for being late. You don't have to stand in the corner. David Ennis is here. Thank you, David, for tuning in. Eamon Wyse. He's here and gone. That's cool. I appreciate it. Thrash says 432 hertz is more in tune with nature's frequencies and was switched to 440 as a weapon for social control. I've heard theories like that. Exactly. And I haven't tried the whole 432 thing. I haven't. I would love to. I would love to experiment. And Matt says with Variax, I'm tuning to whatever I need. Exactly. Carlo Santin says, I'm not E flat exactly. I'm slightly below standard tuning. I'm not sure what it's become a habit. And you listen to the old Van Halen records too. This is what's a real bummer for guitar players wanting to play through the whole record or learning the record. Eddie would break a string in the studio. He would just tune back up as close as he could. And if he wasn't in tune with Mike, he'd say, Mike, tune to me, and that's why sometimes you're all over the place. I just got a funny text message. I'll leave that alone for now from Sandra Lee. You're cute. You're cute, babe. So yeah, it's all over the place, right? And you're trying to learn. You got to tune your guitar all over the place. So having a locking trem system, learning old Van Halen sometimes, even though it's helpful, it's a hindrance because you're always tuning, right? Make sure I haven't missed anybody. I don't think I have a few more. Guitar Samurai 440. Nice to see Derek Merrill. Neil Bambury, Digitech drop is a must for tuning with the Helix. I agree with that because the polyphonic tuning in pitch change in Helix is not 100% there yet. I know that's something that they are working with, internally. It's a serious item for them that they're looking at, and I could see in future developments down the road with new firmware that we will see better polyphonic pitch shifting. So I agree with Neil. The Digitech drop is a must-have component for Helix, for sure. Jimmy Bider's sharing his tunings as well too. Thomas, I guess I tune a D flat. Awesome. Okay, so I guess maybe with that, we'll grab a guitar. I'm going to grab a quick sip because of all this talking already. I've talked more right now in about 10 minutes than most people do probably in 45. Stefan is here. E-standard all the time. Nice to see you. Okay, let me see. Let's get some headphones ready. And I really am liking the 440. And I'm playing on the one guitar I'm going to be playing here in a moment, the Line 6 Variax JTV 89F. It's the Floyd Rose version. It's a floating Floyd, which I normally don't play with either. So what you're going to be hearing tonight, a while back over on Marketplace, that's Line 6's commercial website where you can buy presets for Helix, of course, Line 6 Helix, all models of Helix, HX Stomp, and HX FX. And down the road, whatever new processors they bring out, I'm sure you'll see. And I'm not saying they're bringing new processors out. I'm just saying whatever new comes down the road, they'll probably introduce those as well too. So I kind of went backwards. I started on the baby Helix. I started off on Stomp, and I created a series of presets called Stomp Trifecta. And my entire life of playing guitar, when I say my life of playing guitar, my entire life of playing guitar professionally, I always used either one amp that has a 3-channel amp, or I used a combination of 2 amps. Back in the day when things were really starting to go good for me, I used to use two 5150s, PV 5150s. I had a 5150 212 combo, which I modified. I took out one of the 12AX7 preamp tubes and I put in a 12AU7, and I forget where that was, whether if it was the first one or the last one. I think it was the last one. Yeah, I think that's how, or would it be? Yeah, I think it was the last one because you're thinking cascading gain, right? Like the ice cube tray, how it spills over. It was either the first one or the last one, and it had a dramatic effect on making it even cleaner. So if you wanted to, the clean channel on that combo was great to begin with, and that's why even Eddie was using them for a while there on the balance tour and things like that for the clean. But I would use that for the clean, and I had an A-B switch, so I would switch over to a 5150 block letter, and I had the full 2 4x12 stack, and that was my dirty amp, dirty and lead. So then I graduated to the other amplifiers like the PVJ-SX and things like that, and then came the 5150s and stuff like that. But I've always had a 3-channel amplifier. I like shimmering clean, I like dirty and dirty. So I built, which was a pretty good working woman's preset on HX Stomp. And I had to really trim it down because we have the 6-block limitation of Stomp. Sometimes that's imposing for some people, sometimes it's not. But for someone like myself who likes a lot of effects, it was imposing. I thought maybe one day I could make a better version of this on Helix. Well, I've been working on it pretty much since a week after I released that preset. That's called Stomp Trifecta. This is going to be called HX Trifecta or Helix Trifecta. And for the people that do have a Variax, and in the Line 6 community, the percentage, I don't know what it is, but I know it's quite high. I would venture a guess. Maybe Matt Krill could throw a number in here as well too, or Scott Scott Roos might venture a guess of maybe 40%. Maybe I'm going to say 40% might be a realistic number of people that own Helix products that have an accompanying Variax. And there's quite a few different models of the Variax. So if you're a Variax owner, you get a bonus. You get the same, but wait, there's more. I'm like Vince from ShamWow. I can't do this all day. But you get a 3-channel preset, and I'll go through some of the effects that are into each of those. Then you get a bonus one for your guitar or for your Variax that is a beautiful acoustic. So think of it that way. You've now got clean, dirty, lead, or clean rhythm lead, and an acoustic guitar. So if you're the cover band person out there, or even with your original stuff, and I mean that you got an electric guitar, lead, all that stuff, and an acoustic guitar, you could bring one guitar technically to your set. And I'm going to show you what's really cool about it, because earlier you might think I'm a hypocrite if I don't tell you this. I said I don't like the sound as much of the synthesized pickups, the Variax technology, as I do magnetic pickups. So what I had to do, and Chad Husky was a great help on this as well too with the routing, because Chad Husky is a Variax guru. He's like the Variax whisperer. If I was just going to use all Variax pickups and technology throughout the whole series of snapshots, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, I could, let's say on snapshot 1, I could say, make the guitar sound like a Les Paul. No problem. I put it on Lester, and I save it. Snapshot 2, make it sound like a Telly. I could do that, no problem. But I only wanted Variax technology to come on the 4th snapshot, and that's going to engage Helix. The acoustic guitar. So that was very hard. What we had to do is we had to basically engage Variax technology through all 4 snapshots, but we had to tell it for snapshots 1, 2, and 3, which are real electric guitar, we turn the volume internally in Helix saved to the snapshot to 0. So the Variax pickups are 0. When we get to snapshot 4, which is the acoustic guitar, we got to tell it inside to turn the volume on the magnetic pickups to 0. It was tough, but it works, and it works like a charm. So we're going to go through that as well too. So that being said, all that long-winded stuff, I know the people that are really into that love that, and the people that don't know about it, well, there you go. And we're going to jump over later on. I'm going to look at some websites here as well too. Have a look at a few things. Sam WB is here. And Scott says, one of the tunes on my YouTube, I was tuned to E flat and used the Pasadena Proud preset. That's mine. Thank you very much. Was also done a half step for the Variax. The song was in F major. And by the way, Scott, I flagged a lot of your videos. And when I say flagged, I put them to watch later, because I noticed Scott's been really populating his YouTube channel. A lot of videos been going up. So I want to go back and catch those. So everyone, if you're into some really cool stuff, come over and take a look at Scott's channel. There's some lots of content going up. Okay. So Brad, you might have missed that one. Brad was one of my beta testers as well too for my the Pasadena Proud as Pasadena Complete, as they were just talking about a second ago. Scott was talking about, but it's up there. It's up there, Brad. Sandra will share the link. She can put it in the chat. It's really simple now. I've made a really simple link to get to Marketplace directly to my section. It's just simply, I could probably put it back on the screen again as well too. Let's try that for a sec. I'll just tell you right now, musicgearnetwork.ca/Helix. That will jump you right to that section. Griffin Guitar is here. No problem, Scott. You got it, buddy. All right. And Variax bass. Yeah, I think there are some Variax basses, Derek. I've never played one, but there are some that are out there. And it's really funny. Years ago, I'll try to share a picture sometime, one of my next shows. I can't dig it up tonight fast enough. But on one of my... not first, but one of my first big shows with the band, we were playing on a national breakfast television show, and we were playing in a supermarket, which is kind of like an outdoor market, whatever. It's a really bustling market, all kinds of people going through getting coffees and fruit and stuff like that, and it's syndicated across Canada, and we couldn't be super, super loud. So we had to have either acoustic guitars, or in this case, I had one of the very first Variax guitars. It wasn't mine. I borrowed it from the music store I was working at. It was the one of the 300 models. It had no real magnetic pickup in it. It just had the Variax. So that was very, very cool. I was using that for 3 or 4 of our songs, and it did the job very, very well. And Matt Krill, you know what? I may take you up on that. It's nice to have a couple beta testers. Carlo Santin was one of mine before as well too. So I'll mix it up a little bit from time to time. I'll get you guys, involved in testing them. It's not like rocket science. It's not like I'm making anything that, anyone can't do if you really spend the time on it. But I just want to see how it works for you. If you guys have any feedback, like Carlo gave me great feedback on one of my presets where one particular effect, when you engage the effect, you might have lost about a dB, which is really noticeable. Well, is somewhat noticeable by the human ear. It was a little too soft. So he said maybe if you brought that up a dB here when you had that effect engage, boom. And see, that feedback like that is great. And Scott says, yeah, unfortunately, the Variax is the older technology won't integrate with Helix as well as the newer ones. The goods, well said, Scott. I'm glad you shared that with us. Okay, let's get some stuff ready. I will start with the Variax guitar, because that's the thing I really want to show off, the preset, what it can do on the Variax. Let's grab that. Oh, I knocked something down. I'm not sure what that was. wasn't nothing major. Now, another thing that's going to be really cool here too is I've said this before on the show many times. I'm using what's called a VDI, Variax digital interface. I think that's what they call it. It's like a network style jack, like a Cat5, but much different. Or EtherCon, a lot of times people refer to them. And I'm not using the regular output. When I'm using this running to my Helix, I can also use my wireless as well too. So I can have several inputs going to Helix. And so when I grab a traditional guitar, I can just put in the wireless, turn the volume off, and this one we're ready to go. And Matt's, yeah, for sure. He says happy to provide some input. So I'll get you hooked up for sure. I'm aiming here over the next month. I lost headphones here. One sec. Well, you can still hear me. I don't need to hear myself yet. Let's find out why I can't hear anything. There we go. Okay. Over the next month, I'm hoping to release, I'd like to try to get 3 to 4 presets out a month. That's going to be my goal. It is a little harder for me because, even though I work from home full-time for myself, and this is my office as well too. It's hard for me just to drop what I'm doing, like drop customers' work. Sometimes I have the luxury, if I get caught up in something, I can jump over. But I don't have the luxury just to sit there and write presets and put them out. But I plan on doing 3 to 4 a month to get some more good stuff happening. Okay, let's take the Helix off of mute. All right, sounds pretty good. I like it. I'll be turning off the mic here in a second. So I'm just going to give you an idea what it sounds like before I start playing music. All right, so we've got, here's clean. Hey, Edwin. Okay, so it's clean and it responds to the different positions in the pickups. Really nice, too. And of course, the dirty you just heard a minute ago. Now, I'm using I don't want to say patented. I certainly didn't patent it. But in the Helix community, people know me for doing this a lot. Using the pitch detune a la Steve Lukather, Eddie Van Halen, all that nice wet, dry, wet where you've got a detune in the left and an uptune in the right. And in a lot of cases, I'm using -9 in the left, +9 in the right, or something like that. So I'm going to turn that off. This would be more of a straight up rock. I like the detune on. Okay, and I can turn on. I've also got the old script mod phase. Got a nice delay on it. Take the delay off. Nice reverb, plate reverb, of course. And I've got a harmonic tremolo in there, which I use just for clean stuff. It doesn't sound the best on dirty. Well, not bad, right? I'll show you where I would use that on my clean. I use that for our song called Fly. It does a little bit of an arpeggiated thing like this. Okay, and it's to simulate a Leslie. So I like it the best for this. So I use it for that. Okay, turn that off. And then, of course, we've got our lead. Go back over to snapshot. Okay, and then we've got... Nice long delay. And then I've got a beautiful wah pedal on here as well too, which is mimicking my the Vox 846, 847, 846 I think it is. I love it. All right, so let's try that in conjunction with some music. And wait, let's try this first. Let's go over to the other preset. So that is just Helix HX trifecta for a normal guitar. So pretend this isn't a Variax. Now we're going to go over to the one that is Variax made for the Variax. Okay, so the clean is going to be exactly the same. Totally the same. Rhythm, same. Works pretty good for that. Now here's the fun part. Watch this. Okay, so I'm gonna hit an open E chord. So what we'll do, so there you go, there's the acoustics. If you have a Variax, that's what you got. So you can go. Cool, right? Something like that. So this works good for my song Fly. No, not Fly, Loaded Gun. So Loaded Gun, when I wrote that song, that one was in a movie, and the bridge took me the longest time. I had no bridge for the song. And it was sitting there, and I was listening to, trying to come up with a bridge, listening to Audio Slave one day, and I heard just a progression. And I didn't steal the progression, but the way it moved me helped me write the bridge. So basically the song, you guys have heard this a million times, you know, their main riff is like... Let's go to a bigger screen here so you can see more of the guitar here for a second. Okay. And then, you know, the main riff is kind of the Jimi Hendrix chord. And then, so that the verse is the chorus as well too. And then I went to F, A minor, but I used it on the acoustic guitar, and it sounds like this. And it goes, and then it goes into a crazy electric solo. Little change here. And then we'll go into, we'll do a big kind of wah solo. So let's, darn that mic stand. All right, let's get the mic stand out of the way here. Let's cue up Loaded Gun. And I have two versions of this song. One is in 440, one is a half step down. And we're going to do the one in 440 for that sole fact that we can play it with this guitar. And we're going to show you how, picture this in the real world with you guys or girls out there playing for a living or just whatever, gigging on the weekends. And how you could have one guitar, if you're using the Variax, of course, we're talking about, have a clean rhythm lead and an acoustic guitar. All right, let's try that. Let's go find that one. All right, let's unmute my laptop, which is going to send some music over. Okay, and I'm going to get this microphone out of the way right now. So Godspeed, let's give this a try. And you'll hear the acoustic guitar come in at the bridge section.
Should that be louder or softer?
Bring up the mids on your chalkboard there a little bit.
Bring up.
There you go. And remember I was saying earlier in the show, the reason why I play my music is so I don't make mistakes. How many did you count there? Probably about 3 or 4 or 5. But you got the gist of it, right? The acoustic guitar coming in, I just absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And, I mean, how often do you get to have a acoustic guitar with a Floyd Rose? Love it. I think I saw Jason Wade is here. Nice to see you, buddy. And I actually switched over to my Be Right Back screen. I didn't know I haven't changed that one yet. That was Paul Gilbert, as Thomas was saying. That was a really fun interview with Paul. Love him. All right, let's keep her clean. I know Brad Miller will like this one, and Matt Krill requested Shirley, so we'll grab that one in a moment as well too. We're gonna play one of Brad Miller's favorites, and this is a version that he likes. This is called Pass You By. Let's give this a try. Okay, we're right on there. Let's mute this mic again. Again, too, for people that are just jumping in, these are my new HX trifecta or Helix trifecta presets that are going to be going up to Marketplace next week. It'll take about 4 or 5 days for them to be in the store, and I got to shoot a video for this as well, too, just so people can see and hear what they sound like. And, yeah, I think you might like them.
Where did all this time go?
So there you go. How'd you like that? Thank you, Edwin. A very nice compliment. I appreciate that. Thomas says good tunes. Thank you. I appreciate that, Thomas. Yeah, I don't think you've heard my music before. You and I, we chat with each other on Twitter from time to time, but I don't think we've ever had conversations about my music. So that was from a band I was in years ago called Finding Core. Okay, let's put this baby down, and we're going to show what it sounds like with a traditional straight-ahead rock guitar, okay? And by that, I mean a guitar that doesn't have the Variax technology. For this one tonight, we'll be using my 1997 patent pending USA PV Wolfgang, the first one on Canadian soil, which is kind of nice. All right, let's mute the rack for a second. And of course, as we said earlier, for those of you that have been tuned in for a while, this one is down in half step down. Now, every once in a while, the wireless is a little bit heavy on the jack. So if you hear me cut out whatever, sometimes I just have to hit the jack to put the wireless back in. So let's see what we got. This one's nice and chunky. And like I said, we're switching back from 440 tuning to this guitar now. I tend to kind of, I was going to say a bad word. I try to keep the profanity to a minimum here on the channel. But I really treat this guitar miserably now with the lighter strings. Let's go back over here for a second as well. All right, so we're unmuted. We should have sound. Okay, well, I don't hear anything yet. Okay, I've done something wrong. Am I in tuning mode? That's weird. Helix rack is not muted. Let's try this again. It's gonna be a bummer if I can't play with that. Well, isn't that strange? Okay, I know why. Totally. I know exactly why, because I'm on that Helix preset with the Variax. I have to get out of that because it's turning off the signal for magnetic pickups. Let's go back to the other one. See? Troubleshooting. Just like today over on the Butterfly and Ladybug show. I had to, simple things went wrong, and I figured it out. But troubleshooting, you have to be able to troubleshoot fast on the fly. Okay, so here we go. This will work. Let me just mute this again. And I almost pause if this is going to work now. I'm on the other one now. So this is going to be the main one that most guitar players would buy this preset for in the Line 6 marketplace. Not everyone has the Variax. Am I a liar? There we go. All right. Okay, so let's try some older stuff. Let's drop her down to D. How about that? All right, that's nothing of mine. So, all right, we're gonna go back to old school. We're gonna go back to Silence, which is in 2005, 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Crazy, 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 right? Never Too Late is here. Nice to see you, man. Good to see you. But haven't talked to you for probably a week or so. Fred Siegel's here as well, too. Another regular I haven't seen in a long time. Nice to see you. Nice. Okay, here we go. A song called Silence. Silentium Istorum. Silence is golden. Very good question from GuitarMan45. It says, so is this guitar sound on your marketplace? No, this is just finished. I just finished creating the preset. It will be going up there. I'll be submitting it to Line 6 on Monday. And we'll probably, if we're lucky, we'll probably be there by Thursday or Friday. So as early as a week from today, this will be up there. It'll be called the Helix Trifecta or HX Trifecta. It'll have the trifecta name in it. Don't get confused with Stomp Trifecta. There is a Stomp Trifecta up there of mine right now, but it is such a condensed version of this. If you're a Stomp user, it's pretty cool. But if you're a Helix user, you want this one. It's a lot more robust. There's a lot more things you can do with it. And Never Too Late says he has the same Timmy's mug. Nice. Who else does he? Defcon Clark is here. Salutations from Tennessee. Nice to have you stopping in. And I'm in need of a Kleenex. You know what? If at all possible, if I could have Butterfly, if she could send down Junior or maybe even herself, if her feet aren't too bad, I could use a Kleenex. I'm getting a bit of a cold here. Scott Connor is here. How do you do, folks? Nice to see you, buddy. All right, so we're going to keep it going here with this preset. And Srash is saying it makes sense for piezoelectric to be used for those instant processing effects like alternate tuning and acoustic sound versus analog magnetic pickups. Yeah, very, very cool. Yes, indeed. And Fred Siegel saying it's Sandra Lee's birthday. Happy birthday. And you know, it's pretty cool. You see my little ticker going across the screen there right now. This is what I can go over to one of my text files here and watch this. I'll just edit it right now. And I'll say, happy birthday, Sandra Lee. And I'll save it. Watch this. Happy, if I can spell, happy birthday. Let's spell it right because people are going to see us going by on the screen saying, Eric doesn't know how to spell. Can't play guitar, can't spell. Sandra Lee. I'll put a little bullet there. And I'll save it. Now watch this. Here we go. I'll save that text file. And you should see it jumping. There we go. You should see happy birthday, Sandra Lee in there somewhere. It'll be at the start. Hopefully it will. We'll find out. Okay, so we're down in what? Okay, we're down in... What else can we try in that tuning? I don't have anything else in that tuning right here, so let's try... How about we try... Well, you know what? Matt Krill was requesting Shirley earlier, so let's try that for Matt. I'm going to make sure I know the melody. I mess that up sometimes. Okay, here we go. I think we got it. Okay, so Shirley, here goes. This was a song for my mom. All right, here we go. This is for you, Matt. I had Kleenex delivery. Tissue delivery. Thank you.
Okay, are you ready yet?
And there you go. And a good question from Scott. I think Scott's saying, when you're playing along or your recordings, are they minus a guitar mix? I have a special mix where I have a guitar and it just has a ghost track. It's a dry guitar in the background just to give me some cues. Because believe it or not, even after playing these songs since 2005, there's some parts I still mess up. So I have a dry guitar track in the background just to give me some audible cues. Let me see here. Tune that up a little bit. Maz B. There you go. Welcome, Matt. I appreciate you. Or Maz. I'm sorry, Maz. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's jump over here for a second. I'm going to switch to another screen here. And I move this here. Let's go into this mode. Let's try this for a second. Show different ways you can support the show and also have our link on screen as well, too, for our Helix Marketplace. Let's put that over there. Leave that there for a few minutes. And we'll jump back over here. And since how we're still in this tuning, let's try this one. I know Jason Wade likes this one. So we're doing a little bit of kind of making a lot of people happy that have certain favorite songs. This one's called In the Sun, and I am definitely looking forward to getting in some sunshine soon, man, getting it back in our pool. It is cold as heck here today.
I've laid a bed with many, but never one to marry. This inside is scary, so let's begin this journey. Submit to me your reverie and give this world away. Locked inside my cover where no one else can see. The forces pull together, suspicious minds can be.
Nice compliment there from Bucketful of Balls. Don't know what you tweaked, but you dialed in. You really dialed in tonight. Thank you. This is a new preset. I spent a lot of time on this one, and I'm really happy with it. I could live with this preset, honestly, for the rest of my life. I'm just going to throw on another screen here as we'll show who our next upcoming guest is over on the Helix Hour. On Sunday, we've got, as I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, we've got Bill Kelleher from Macedon coming on. That's going to be lots of fun. Keeping an eye on my time right now. We're 10:16, 10:17. I'm going to try to wrap up towards the 10:30 mark here if we all can. Looking at some notes here. Is there anything else I want to go over? There's a few other things as well. Let's try another one here. Let me see here. Maybe we can jump out of, you know what? Let's try a song called Touch. So we need to get rid of that harmonic trem. Okay, this is a fun song. All right, let's give this one a try. Here we go. Yeah, that's awesome. Never Too Late says, is it my imagination or is it mixed better tonight? I will take that as the best compliment ever because There's nothing changed. I haven't changed anything on my mixer. Now, keep in mind, that's going to be gone soon. We're going to see something new here very soon. But it's got nothing to do with the mixer tonight. It has everything to do with, it has to do with two things. Number one, the Helix presets, I really like them. I put a lot of effort into them. But you guys and girls here in the chat are giving me extreme good mojo tonight. So I got to give you guys credit. That's maybe why it's sounding better. You're giving me really good positive energy tonight. And I love that. I appreciate that more than anything. So I got to give credit where credit is due. Let's pop the chat back on there. All right. Have that on there. So thank you, Larry. And Stefan says, do you have good stability with your D'Addario 9-42? Yes, I am using the NYXLs. These are old strings, man, by rights. I think I probably put these on in the fall of 2019. And I don't play this guitar every single day, but as you see tonight, I'm playing it pretty darn hard, staying in tune great. I mean, there's a million strings out there, and they're all good. I mean, every string has a good character to it. But these NYXLs, and I didn't pick the D'Addario shirt tonight on purpose as a plug. I'm not sponsored by D'Addario. I'm not an artist. I'm not endorsed. None of that stuff. I have got a few sets free from D'Addario, and they are also contributed to some of our contests and things like that. But I get no plug for saying any kickback for saying yes, I like the strings. I love the strings. The only other string I've ever played in my life that I think could rival the string, and they're no longer even a competitor because they're out of business. They're a Canadian company called Firewire. They were absolutely insane. We were endorsed by them back in the early 2000s. They've since gone out of business. It's a shame. I think possibly one of the other big string companies took over some of their stock. I'm trying to think of what was one of those string companies you could go buy in bulk? I mean, I used to remember going to the music stores. You could buy I don't know why the name has slipped my mind. It's a big string company, but I think they might have taken them over. It had the last of their stock anyways. But yes, I like them a lot. Andrew is here, man. You just missed all the cool Variax stuff. Maybe we can work in one song of a Variax for Andrew. Former product owner at Line 6 back at his old gig. He's there for quite some time, and that was his baby, looking after the Variax guitars. So maybe we can throw in a Variax for for Andrew before he takes off. Okay, so since we're down here still in this crazy low, I shouldn't say crazy tuning, but lower tuning, we'll play another song from the Fine Core. And Andrew, for just jumping in, this is my next set of presets going up to Marketplace next week. It's called the Helix Trifecta. For your traditional players with a traditional electric guitar that is not a Variax, it has clean, dirty, and a lead. Really, really nice with all kinds of stomps in it as well. And then it's a 3 snapshot. And then if you have a Variax guitar, I give a bonus, kind of a mirror of the preset. And Andrew, I know I'm talking directly to him, and he's going to love this. He geeks out over this stuff. Andrew, as you know, it's easy in Helix to save a snapshot with, let's say, maybe Les Paul on model on one snapshot, maybe a Telly on the next one, maybe a crazy tuning in a different guitar on a third one, and so on and so forth. But what I did for the preset I wrote is I have clean, dirty, and lead using magnetic pickups. And the fourth preset, snapshot, is Variax technology using in the acoustic. And I'm not the biggest fan of using the Variax technology for dirty sounds. So I like to use magnetics. And it's actually easy to do it the other way I was just talking about, but to have, I had to basically have the Variax technology on throughout the whole thing, but at snapshots 1, 2, and 3, I had to turn the magnetic pickups to 0, and snapshot 4, snapshots 1, 2, and 3, the Variax pickups were turned to 0, and then on snapshot 4, the Variax pickups were full and the magnetic pickups were turned off. It was very tricky, but it works, and it sounds like $1 million. And I'm very happy that you can tune in. All right, here we go. Let's do some touch. It's a good touch. And Scott Roos had a really good suggestion there. He says, where did he say that? I'm going to go back. He says, you can also have one path for variacs and the other for magnetics, all through VDI. Yes, indeed. However, unless you're an idiot like me and you like to have every pedal at Guitar Center, well, I'm exaggerating, but my top path is loaded. And so what I have for the electric guitar side, picture this, Scott, and you can appreciate why I had to do some weird balancing. I've got a chorus, I've got a phaser, I've got delay, I've got reverb, I've got a Dynadrive distortion pedal, I've got dual pitch, harmonic trem, and a 6-button looper. Okay, that's for the electric side. So to get to that acoustic side, I had to share some things with acoustic. It was a nightmare. Chad Husky was a bit of a help on that as well too, and I really thank him a lot for the different routing possibilities. But if it was just a couple effects, no problem. I have the top path all electric, bottom path all variacs, and switch my inputs however I need, or vice versa. But it just wouldn't work for my scenario, so we had to really reinvent some things. So it was pretty cool. Awesome. So we're probably going to play a couple more songs. God Bless America. Do I take requests? Only if it's my music, for the sole fact that I don't play any music on here that will get me in trouble copyright wise. As we were saying earlier in the top of the program, I got one of my videos blocked worldwide from doing this about a week ago, and I was playing late at night, and I played some Rush, which was cool, and I only got a copyright claim on that. But because I played Ozzy, my video was blocked worldwide. So I try not to do any copyrighted material. So, and to be honest with you, I might screw it up, and so answer is no on that one. God bless, but I appreciate the fact that you asked anyways. Okay, maybe we'll play one or two more low ones, and then we'll do a special one just for Andrew with the Variax again. Okay, here's one I love to play. A song called Runaway. And Stefan there says, I'm going to send you a video of Rick Beato with the string gauge. Yeah, I saw his thumbnail on that one. I saw that on YouTube as a recommended video. I haven't watched it yet, but go ahead and send it to me. That'd be great. That'd be very cool. Let's jump over to a newer album. Let's go over to 5210. All right, and we're going to try Runaway. We'll do Runaway. We'll do Fall Silent. Then we're going to jump back over to Variax, just strictly for, I shouldn't say strictly for Andrew. It's done in his honor, but at the same time, it's a nice bonus for Variax owners when they buy this preset package that I'll be selling. And it's going to be very affordable, too. Very, very affordable. It'll probably be under $10. So we'll wait on that, okay? All right, here's a song called Runaway. This one, and I think, who is it? Is it Gary Tholander? I think is my resident harmonic squeal counter. So you'll see me nod if I hit my squeals. I'm not the world's biggest Zakk Wylde fan, and Zakk Wylde was never. I mean, I love him. I just never studied him, right? And I like his squeals, and I can get them sometimes when I'm not thinking about it. So there's in the riff, I do this. So I do the first part goes. And that's not a squeal. That's just an artificial harmonic or harmonic. So just 1 second. Okay, 1 sec. Okay, so those are harmonic, but then I do. Like that, all right? So that's what, watch to see if I get those. I'll nod if I get them, and I will, I'll shake my head if I don't get them. So we'll see how that goes. Here goes. Runaway. right, here we go. And I know Butterfly took off. She thought we were wrapping up at 10:30, so she's probably getting ready for bed. It's late for her time. We're going to do 2 last songs. We're going to do the song called Fall Silent, and then we're going to turn it over to Variax just to show Andrew what it sounds like with the preset with the Variax technology here as well. And then we're going to say goodnight, and I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. And I also cordially invite you to come tune in 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific. Line 6 artist Bill Kelleher from Mastodon stops by. We're going to have some heavy fun. All right, here we go. One last song in this tuning. We'll grab Variax, and we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Rock and roll. Here goes. This is a fast one. Last song for the evening. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I'm going to mute the Helix here. All right, Helix is muted. Get rid of this here, and if every once in a while it cuts out because this is pretty heavy as a jack on this Wolfgang. It's best if I wear this on a strap, kind of in a little bit of a bundle. All right, here we go. Andrew, if you're still here, this is for you. If you're not here, you'll get to hear it in a later time. So I'm going to switch presets back to the Variax. All right, and this is the last one. Nocturnal Butterfly, if you're still awake, this is the last one for the evening. And I'll come and see you before your birthday is completely over. All right, here we go. Let's get this off of here. So for anyone that's just tuning in now or to a later part of the program, I'm using 4 snapshots here. And someone also asked earlier, I think it might have been Max, or asked if it was all Helix for my sound. Yes, nothing but Helix. You can see it back there, Helix rack. I've got a few different Helixes. There's Helix floor there, and there's one hiding behind. You can probably see it here. There's one there as well, too. That's Junior's. So that's all we use. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go all variacs, and we're going to do acoustic guitar in the bridge. Watch for the bridge of this one. Oh, thanks, Andrew. Still here. Ben Bowman's here. Good to be back. Nice to see all of you. Nice to see you as well, Ben. I think, Ben, you've got the 89F, right? Okay, here goes. Last song of the evening. This has been a lot of fun. Okay, here goes. Let's make sure we're on the dirty channel. Make sure the acoustic works. It works. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. All right, tune off the mic. I can't think of a more high energetic way to end the night than now. And that's a fun song to play. So everyone, we're going to jump off here. Happy Friday evening to you. Come over and see us again on the Helix Hour on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Bill Kelleher from Macedon is on the show. Looking forward to that one greatly. Been wanting to get him on the show for quite some time. It's some new faces in the chat again tonight. Thomas Farrell, one of my friends from Twitter. Very nice to see you and have you jump in here. Very, very cool. Appreciate that. Ben Bowman, all the regulars here as well too. Some faces we haven't seen for a long time. Really appreciate you popping back in. It's really nice. And I got to give credit to you guys and girls. You really actually helped me play good tonight. I mean, as good wherever I am wherever on the spectrum, in your minds, you put me there. So thank you. And if I sucked, well, you put me there too. No, just kidding. You did help me play very well tonight, and I appreciate that. I hope everyone has a fantastic evening. If you're new here, new faces, please subscribe, turn on all those notifications. And I promise to work just as hard to keep you as a subscriber as we did to get you. And, we haven't necessarily worked that hard to get you as a subscriber. Sometimes people just fall in and they subscribe. But I tell you this, even if you just fell down a hole and you landed in our channel, I promise I'll work really hard to keep you here. We will not let you down. All right, Thomas, we'll see you as well, too. Everyone, thanks so much. So these presets will be available on Line 6 Marketplace, hopefully by the end of next week. I'll be submitting them on Monday. It takes a few days to do their thing, and look forward to getting them in your hands and see what you can do with them. I think you're going to do amazing stuff. All right, everybody, let's get over here and say good night and God bless and all that fun stuff. Be safe out there. If you don't travel, if you don't have to, and all that. Be careful of the virus and all that horrible stuff that's out there. Be safe, and we want to see you back soon. Until next time, cheers.
Hey, you're still here? Eric Jr. here, reminding you to check out our full lineup of quality merch. Available right now in the Broadstash Boutique. Quality products and fast shipping. Visit broadstash.com today.
Video production services for Rock Shop Live are provided by Design 39 Media. Visit design39media.com for all your website, photography, and video production needs. Microphones for Rock Shop Live are provided by Rode Microphones.